We are here in the Oosterpoort Groningen with the one and only Mike Dawes. We're in the middle of the sound check. Some technical difficulties, so we just...
Not my fault.
For the first time I heard. So Mike, you talked about yesterday in Tivoli, Utrecht. You had a little bit of a struggle with the pedal board.
So I thought this might be a fun video to do with you guys because so I have a really lovely guitar rig that I put together, which I take all over the world, and it allows me to get the sound I want out of an acoustic guitar, because acoustic guitars traditionally they don't sound very good when they're plugged in, and that's been kind of a problem for a very long time, for many years. And I realized through just lots and lots of research and working with lots and lots of people that multiple pickup systems really helps with that. And so I actually have 4 pickups in this guitar, and that really helps me get the most out of the guitar at a venue like this when you have a big full range PA system. And it allows me to play with some effects that are traditionally kind of used for like electric guitar players, right? So distortions and whammy and octave and stuff like this, because I can route things in kind of creative ways to allow the natural acoustic guitar to remain unchanged, right? When I plug in, I actually have the first thing I plug into, rather than going into some kind of preamp or DI or amp, is a mixer. So I have a mixing console on the floor, and on that mixing console I have my 4 pickups in isolation, and then I have different channels for my different effects as well. And the other night, when we plugged in at soundcheck, there was a sort of buzz in the system, a kind of like bzzz kind of sound. And in order to troubleshoot that, we went backwards. So we started, the way to kind of troubleshoot these things is you go from the DI at front of house and take individual things out of the chain.
Yeah.
And once we got to, I think, my reverb pedal, the signal became very clear again. That's why it looks a little ugly right now. We're going straight out of the timeline to front of house because the stuff that's after that in the chain was causing the problem.
Okay, and what's after that?
Reverb and looper.
Okay.
Simple. Reverb, looper, and obviously the cables, things like that. It's important to check this kind of stuff. Right now, Steve's having a thing with the front of house console itself, so we're just going through the house XLR cables right now. Otherwise, I'll be able to make a noise for you right now. But you see right here, this is my output, whereas usually it would come out of here, which would be my stereo guitar output with reverbs. So now Steve here, who's Tommy's front of house, is doing my reverb, which is great. So it means he's riding it creatively and getting all kinds of really fun sounds. Yeah, he's got nice. Yeah, he's got the good stuff. So you'll hear it in a moment when we're up and running, and it just sounds huge. And I say the one thing that I want to build towards is traveling with my own Steve, so you can ride the reverb, because obviously reverb pedals are fantastic and great and everything, but any changes, EQ changes, compression that they're going to do at the front of house, that'll affect your reverb. Ideally, you want your reverb kind of after that. You know what I mean? So ideally, you want to have the reverb in the house, but typically the reverb in the house doesn't sound very good. This is something that's pretty cool. It's a little sampler by Roland. I'll turn it up for you so you can hear it in the wedges. I just took some reverse reverb samples so I can like end songs with impacts or do little impact hits. I also do a cover of the traditional Dutch folk song Jump by Van Halen.
Oh yeah,
Right? So I've got little synthesizer pads and things like this. And some people ask why there's a towel. That's because I don't want it to accidentally trigger by bouncing. And sometimes
the threshold is pretty finicky.
The threshold, exactly. Sometimes, right? Sometimes it works quite fun because there'll be accidental triggers. Like these things come with this sound, right? It just comes with that. So sometimes I'll just be walking around the stage and I'll be like, and it would trigger it. Like I'll play some really romantic ballad or something like that, and it's supposed to be really gentle, and then all of a sudden, what the hell? So now I go with that, and I made my own samples, like just stupid things.
You just embrace it.
Lean into it. Exactly. Lean into the fun stuff. But playing with this kind of sound in a room like this is so cool, man, because you get the big full range PA, you get the subs. Now that Steve's running the reverb on this tour, I can really, because he knows my material. We've done so many shows together. We must have done like 200 shows together or something. Because I've been playing opening for Tommy all over the world for a long time. And Steve knows the songs, so whatever I'm going to play, he's got he's riding the reverb through the song, and it's really, really fun. But
Yeah.
I just did a US headline tour when I didn't have Steve, and I just used house front of
technician,
house.
yeah.
So for that, I actually brought, it's in my suitcase, a Neuneighbor reverb unit from Quilter Audio. And there's some really nice patches on there that I was able to kind of just, almost like just add on when I wanted it to really, with the reverb to really explode.
Yeah.
I had an expression pedal just controlling an extra reverb. So I could I could with a foot fade in reverbs.
And was that reverb going over the other reverb?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
So it's at the very end of the chain.
Okay, yeah.
So it was almost like if say I'm doing something where there's little delicate harmonics and things, I could just fade in with my foot a reverb. So it's like having a Steve, but it's my foot instead. So that's what I would do if I'm not touring with a front of house engineer who knows the material. Mm-hmm. So over here I have my three main pickups, kick, magnetic, and piezo. And the cool thing about this thing, it's a mixer by Bose, is that I have input levels, right?
Yeah.
So I can always troubleshoot if there's like any issues. So channel 1 is the kick, right? So when I'm doing this, you can see it's on.
coming in, yeah.
But if I'm strumming the guitar, it's much less, right? It's only really picking up the kick there. And equally, if I'm hitting the wood, you see the magnetic pickup is not really inputting.
No.
Because I'm not doing the strings, right? That's the strings.
Yeah.
So I know there's no ground noise tonight. I know there's not going to be any because I'm not getting any of this, right?
Yeah.
So if I take my hands away, nothing
That's
there,
great.
right?
That's great.
Right? So it's a really quick way to make sound check quick, typically. Okay.
In normal situations.
In normal situations, exactly. So all the channels have that kind of thing. So the octave, the overdrive, and the whammy, they also have their own input levels.
This is like the mixer you normally use on like the sound poles, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. So you have to buy your own power supply for it because they usually draw power from the big speakers.
Yeah.
But we don't have that, so I had to get my own power supply for it. Wired it together in this board, and then basically once you have all the pickups in there, the effects I want to just run from the magnetic pickup, you know, the electric guitar effects.
Yeah.
Like the whammy, there's an octave underneath here.
Yeah, the Bose.
And this distortion. So when I was just in America, I had a volume pedal, and I think the axle that holds the volume pedal upright, I've had it for many years, became loose. And even though I went in with a hex key, I couldn't tighten it up. So it was just falling down.
Yeah.
So I'd be playing a song, and it would just fall down, and this controls my distortion. So I'd be playing a song, and it would just go and become a heavy metal song halfway through.
Moly, yeah.
So the guitar tech I was with had this. I don't even know which company this is. So we gaffer taped it onto the pedal board and took a random long cable.
Yeah.
Because everything's usually very neat. You see these cables, they go under and it's all hidden and
it's all soldered.
Yeah, and it comes up here because the input was here.
Was there, and now it's too short.
Exactly. Now it's too short. So we have that, but everything works.
It's
you know,
like a
everything's functional.
Chinese.
I don't know what it is,
pedal.
but it works. All it is just a small footprint pedal to control this. Now this is amazing. This is where
the Tonex.
This is where the distortion comes from. The Tonex one. It's awesome, man. I've just got 2 amps I can switch between, and for different types of distortion. Usually
what kind of amps do you use?
Oh man, I cannot even remember because I should look into that and then make a post about it because when I got this, I went through. It was like the 3rd one I tried. I was like, that's the one, that's great. And I rolled off the low end because I want the distortion to not interfere with the low octave, the bass.
Yeah.
So I have like a clean bass, a sub-octave, and then I have the distortion kind of occupying the middle and treble.
How important are the wedges for you? Like, do you always have the same wedges?
No, I'm really just easy, honestly. The thing that's more important is the side fills.
Yeah.
So the reason the side fills are important is because I walk around a lot over here, you know, and hearing something here is better. And the important thing is that the front wedges aren't too loud because even though it's very quiet, there is a microphone in here.
Yeah.
And obviously if, you don't want to have these too loud because...
Yeah, then it will feedback. And you don't use the thing.
The tone amp.
No, I mean the thing in the hole, in the sound hole.
No, because funnily I used to have a feedback buster and I took a scalpel to it and tried to make it fit. But the problem is some songs I like to turn the microphone up. I like to have access to these wheels. There's some thumb wheels here. So this microphone, when it's off, you can still hear this stuff. But when I turn the microphone on, you can really
much louder.
Yeah, so there's some songs I want to get all this
everything.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So you need a microphone to do that. So I have to have kind of access to it. There's a song I do called The Impossible where I really want to have access to it.
Yeah.
But usually I try to keep it pretty tight and pretty controlled because I hate feedback. And that's another reason why this mixer is the mixer of choice. It's because it has loads of EQ.
Yeah.
So for each channel. So for example,
how many bands for each?
3-band parametric and 3-band regular EQ, right?
Okay.
So for the piezo, for example, if we want to get really nerdy, so if I go to the para EQ section here, select my piezo channel, you can see there's 1, 2, 3. Pretty severe. I mean, this one's a 15 dB cut at 195
almost
hertz.
200 hertz, yeah.
And that is because that's about there. If I take that off,
there it goes.
okay?
Yeah.
So the control that I have with that is huge. That just means the guitar is so clean every day. But I don't need that on the magnetic pickup because that sound is the sound of the wood on this guitar. Every guitar has a note that you maybe want to reduce, right? But that's not really going to come through as severely just through the magnetic pickup. It's more the vibrations of the wood, right? So being able to do that cut on the piezo, but not on the magnetic, is really cool, you know? So you can keep the magnetic nice and fat, you know?
So much control.
There's so much control. There's a bit of compression, things like this, but I really got to know this mixer pretty intimately.
Yeah.
And I don't work with Bose, but I love it as a thing that you know it sounds good coming out.
It's not that like Bose is known for guitar.
No, exactly. That's what.
So how did you find this mixer?
I was recommended this through Nick Benjamin, who is a luthier that I work with. Nick Benjamin recommended this. He was working with an artist called Newton Faulkner, who's a great singer-songwriter, and he suggested this as a solution. I think it was for just using multiple guitars, not necessarily doing what I'm doing with, which is loads of stuff with one guitar, but it's also obviously very good for multiple guitars because there's 8 channels. So you could have just a bunch of different guitars, muting, unmuting, very simple, you know. So I think it was recommended more as an interface with cool EQ than a crazy
Is it also
hyperbrain.
MIDI switchable or?
There's no MIDI, no. I tried doing MIDI from the Strymon Timeline, actually.
Yeah.
I did a tour with Periphery, the metal band, which was so fun. I opened for them. I was, you know, doing Wall of Death and stuff, but playing, you know, like, you know, playing like Irish folk songs. And
let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so I used the Quad Cortex for that tour.
Okay, yeah.
I tried the Quad Cortex because I was trying to go even more crazy and have a different like bank for each song. So I was like, oh, well, what if I only want the whammy on some songs, but then instead I could have an expression pedal that controls frequencies like a filter sweep or delay or whatever. So I used MIDI for that tour, but it ended up just, I have a caveman brain, and the amount of time it took me to learn that, I'm so used to the Bose, just in terms of I know what knobs do what. It's more comfortable in a situation like this. So what happened the other night is we plugged it in, and there was a sort of like kind of noise coming out of the thing, which in my mind is a capacitor in a pedal, or some kind of power-related thing with a pedal. So we went back from the DIs, and just went back and troubleshooted, and ended up cutting out my reverb and my looper, coming straight out of the timeline here. And then the sound stops. So now we're here tonight, and you're here, and you can see real evidence of, okay, how do we make a show happen when stuff breaks, you know? You know, all these fun toys, you know, it's all very well and good having it, but if you don't know how to fix it in 5 minutes, then it's a problem. You know what I mean?
Because your show starts at 8.
Exactly. And the show has to go on, right? So obviously having people like Steve Law, who's Tommy's front of house guy on the road, is really helpful. But when I don't have Steve Law, you know, I have to know this stuff inside out. And that's why I went back to the Bose. I use the Quad on other tours, and I use it on electric guitar, because I do some session tours with electric guitar and stuff. But I went back to this just because I really know it. you know, and it's anything that saves time at soundcheck is really important.
But have you ever been in a situation where everything just failed on you?
Yes.
And on stage, 1,000 people in front of you.
Well, it wasn't a case of anything failing. It was a case of the airline lost my pedal board, right? So I had to do the gig without it. And this is where I had a contingency plan, right? My friend Petteri Sariola, amazing guitar player, musician, he recommended, he's like, dude, you need to have a contingency plan. My contingency is, remember I said I had 4 pickups? Well, there's only 3 pickup channels here.
Yeah.
KMP, kick, magnetic, and piezo. But I have a microphone as well. So why is there only 3 channels? Well, that's because 2 of the pickups, my most important pickups, the piezo and the microphone, are wired together internally. So any random mono jack cable, if I just plug any cable in, that will get the ability to have acoustic guitar and percussion, and I can just go straight into a DI and let the front of house guy do the rest.
Yeah.
And I can get away with doing a show. Like, this stuff is not to be relied upon to do the show. This is like to make the show more fun for me and hopefully the audience.
Yeah.
But I can do a show just on a guitar.
Yeah.
So the contingency is making sure that I have some internal EQ. Remember I said I have these wheels. I have access to like a backup system without needing anything at all. Okay, so that's super important. You know, I love gear and I love sounds and I love all the textures you can get from an acoustic guitar, because not a lot of people think of having distortion, you know, on an acoustic, but it sounds so nice. You see how it sits in the top end?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then this.
It's very subtle.
Exactly. That's the thing, they are subtle, but yeah.
It just...
And the bass, you can hear the bass is separate. You know what I mean? I love that about the acoustic guitar, but make no mistake, the songs are what's important, you know, and just being able to play.
That lines up with what Tommy said in the podcast earlier, in the recording.
Yeah.
You gotta have good songs.
Yeah.
You gotta rely on your repertoire.
And you know what'll teach you that is doing shows. So I was having this conversation with someone the other day. You'll see the show tonight, so hopefully you'll reinforce what I'm saying, but the songs that people remember most at concerts are the ones that really move them. They're the soft, gentle, the, you know. The things that kind of make people remember, they make people forget about their mortgage, all this
resonates.
Stuff. But the stuff that works online is all the, you know.
Faster. Yeah.
You know, exactly, all of that. So when you do shows, you learn what really affects people is that more emotional stuff, but you have to have the attention span to be taken on that journey, and that's what live shows are really great for, having people taking them into this different world.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're on TikTok at home having a poo, you know, it's like
who doesn't?
What is getting my attention really quick? So that is where the importance of the song, you're really reminded of that. You know, and touring with someone like Tommy, he's not just playing his own amazing songs, but he's playing things like Imagine. Now, no video of someone playing Imagine is going to get the same attention as someone going on the guitar, right? But man, I know what the audience prefer, and it's when they're all singing that song and they start crying, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm trying to tread the line of doing both in the concerts. I'm trying to introduce people to what I'm doing and what the guitar can do, especially when you have these extra elements. So the song I open on this tour is a song called Cloudcatcher, which is the first song from my new album, and it's a 7-minute song, and it starts very delicately. And then it just goes through this whole journey, and then it arrives at this little waterfall harmonic thing. And I really like that as an introduction, because it doesn't slap you in the face right away, but it forces you to kind of come in.
Yeah.
And that's really effective at a live show. Less so online, but at a live show, it's really, really special. And that's my favorite thing I'm playing right now.
Do you also like go for, when you try to post something online, take into account that people have short attention spans, and you tailor make the content for that?
No, and I should, but I shouldn't, because fuck them. Like, I had a friend round to my house who's a very well-known fingerstyle guitar player online, everyone knows him, and he came over and he stayed with me, and he's my dear friend and everything, and I just finished, I got the master for my new album. The album's called Galactic Acid.
It's a great album.
Boom, hell yeah, I'll pay you later. And we played the album, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's great. So which one's like the main song? Like which one's the viral song?" And that was like a genuine question, and it took me back because I genuinely hadn't considered an answer to that question. Like which one is the viral song? That's not the intention at all. But because this guy's a little younger, I can see where he's coming from. It's like, okay, well, which one's the one that's gonna get views? I'm like, actually, there isn't one on this record that's engineered. I mean, there hasn't really been one on any record. The only thing that I've done that I knew would get views is I did a cover of One by Metallica.
Yeah.
And as a guitar player, I just know that if I see someone doing a solo guitar version of One, I want to wait until the end to see what that sounds like on a solo guitar.
How is it going to end?
Yeah, because it's an iconic ending.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing's been written to... And that's part of the reason I'm not like a huge... I have a good following online, but nothing like a lot of other people who lean more into that. And that's something that maybe I should think more of. But because I love doing shows so much and I'm on the road so much, I just see what works with the people.
Yeah.
And what makes them go and want to get the record and wants to tell their friends about this thing. It might be hard for them to convince their friends because they weren't in the room, but it's all about the show, man. And
maybe
hopefully you'll see that.
Yeah, for sure. But maybe it's also because you're in the position now. You positioned yourself in the position that you can play your ass off. But I can imagine young fingerstyle, any guitarist who wants to get out on the road but doesn't see a path to the stage.
Yeah.
That maybe the easiest way is, okay, let's do TikTok.
But it is. And that's the crazy thing. Like, I was thinking the other day, if I'm starting now, I literally wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I would be doing this. I would be doing like, okay, you have to do the impossible. That's basically it. You have to do the impossible or be super sexy. It's basically or both. And the people who do both are just crushing it, right?
Yeah.
But when I started, my first album was built on like 2 videos, and both of them were like viral videos because it was at a time where people would watch the whole of a YouTube video. That's just what happened. Now, you know, music videos aren't consumed in the same way.
No.
They're just not. So I definitely am not going to be the person to knock the younger generation's approach to doing things because it's clearly working for them because that's where the culture is. If you want to know where the culture is, just look to what the young people are doing. But I have to balance what's productive career-wise with what is what I want to be doing. And what I want to be doing is affecting people and making them forget about the mortgage and forget about the problems and all of that and reach in and tell them it's going to be okay. And that's what I'm trying to do. It just so happens that I guess the landscape rewards the other stuff. Actually, I disagree with that sentiment in its entirety because anything, I do believe that anything that's genuinely awesome, whatever it is, will break through. And I'm just trying to work hard at the stuff that's more emotion-based than flash-based. It just so happens that being a one-man guitar show, there's certain tools I have to employ to get the parts
quite flashy
out.
being yourself.
You just have to. You know, if I want to get all the parts to come out, I have to do some certain techniques. But the show that I'm trying to do is just make people forget about stuff. That's really what it's all about. And I get 40 minutes, 45 minutes before Tommy to kind of do that, and playing to his audience and is a wonderful like experiment to do that, you know. And I've done so much of that over so many years that it just reinforces the fact that, you know, maybe I don't need to worry about which song will go viral. Maybe I should just follow what's in the gut. It'll, you know,
that's
it'll respond.
That's always right.
Yeah.
Just follow because when you feel it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And everyone's tastes are different as well. Like I grew up listening to Swedish death metal. Like, you know, I didn't grow up listening to the Beatles, honestly. But there's other people out there that grew up listening to Swedish death metal. So maybe what I do will be interesting to them, you know, and that's okay. Yeah, your influences are what make you unique. And everyone, when they start early in life in their musical journey, it's like a fork in the road. Like, oh, I have this decision or this decision. So that they go here. But the older they get, the more forks in the road there are. And it becomes a tree of all these decisions. And people are in all these different positions in this tree. Like, Tommy's here. Like, I'm here. Like, anyone is in these different positions having taken these different decisions. And that makes just wonderful and unique. And, that's
and it makes it you.
It gives you your own voice. Because no one wants to come and see me try and be Andy McKee.
No.
You know, they could just go to see Andy McKee. You know, it's like there's one Meshuggah because they sound like Meshuggah, you know, and that was something which, when I realized that, really helped me not worry about what other people think about stuff, you know.
Yeah, and time is moving so quickly, like on social media, the trends move so quickly. So what is now the way to go in 3 years? It's old news.
You know what's a great example of that is look at the bluegrass people crushing it right now. They didn't start playing bluegrass because it became this mega trendy thing in the past few years. No. They were doing it all their lives, probably playing in bars, and now they're playing in stadiums. Yeah. But they didn't just jump on a trend. That stuff's in their blood. It just so happens that the zeitgeist spotlight just landed on bluegrass a few years ago in the mainstream, and now Beyonce's done a country album, and Post Malone's done a country album, and everyone's just obsessed with guitar, which is awesome for guitar.
Which is a couple of years ago, I thought it was going in a different direction, but this is good for us. Yeah, it was trap beats and hip hop, and now that's on the downtrend, and now it's country and bluegrass, and that's on the uptrend, and that's going to translate itself to all lovers of acoustic guitar. And it's just stick with what you're doing, whatever it is that you love. The spotlight of the commercial zeitgeist and spiritual zeitgeist will land on you at some point, and if it doesn't, you've done something for yourself, and it will affect the real people. I promise. Get out there and play open mic nights and meet real people. Don't just be on TikTok whilst having a poo. Yeah. Real world. Yeah. Get out into the real world. That's Mike, thank you very much. I'm going to let you go because you have to go to eat. Yeah, we're going to get food. The show's starting very, very soon, but I'm glad we got to do this. I appreciate you guys coming in. Thanks. Thank you.
Hey, ben ik even tussendoor. Voordat we verder gaan wil ik je even kort wijzen op het volgende. Meer dan 70% van de mensen die kijken is niet geabonneerd. En dat is doodzonde, want hoe meer abonnees, hoe meer het mij helpt om nog meer toffe gitaristen over de streep te trekken om te gast te zijn in de podcast. Dus, wil je me helpen? Abonneer je dan nu snel. Snel terug naar de podcast. Well, that was a great rig rundown, Mike. Was it? Great. It wasn't half as bad as I thought it was.
Awesome. I can't remember. It was so long ago, but we did it and we did the show. So there you go.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. One final question left for you, and that is the item called the Desert Island Pedal Train. You are stuck on a desert island.
Yes.
But before you hopped on that plane that crashed, you got to fill a pedal train nano with 3 pedals.
3. Okay. Well, number 1, it's not really a pedal, but it is a pedal. It's the Tonewood Amp 2. The Tonewood Amp 2, I don't have one to hand. This is the Tonewood Amp 1. That's what it looks like. The Tonewood Amp 2 sticks to the back of the guitar, and it creates reverb and effects coming out of the sound hole. So if I want to walk around on the beach or go and serenade the locals, I can do that wirelessly. So I don't really play guitar at home without the Tonewood Amp on my guitar. So there's that. I hope that counts. But
yeah, it counts.
And because it can go on the pedal board as well. So we're going to use that as reverb, both on the guitar and on the board. We're going to have the Bose OC3 octave pedal or the OC5, although for some reason I just love the OC3. That is a polyphonic octave. It allows you to add a low octave sound just at the bottom string, or essentially the low frequencies. So that is basically my bass player. And then number 3, let's do the tried and tested Strymon Timeline. Now, I have no relationship with Strymon whatsoever, but the Timeline has been on my board since the very beginning, and I think it's one of the best delay pedals out there. I use it for special reverbs by making really fast delays, stereo and modulated. It kind of sounds like a reverb, especially if it's then going into a secondary reverb pedal. But what you can do with it is so cool, and the fact that you can swell things by holding the buttons down means you can play a bit with your feet as well, and it's a very organic yet digital sounding pedal, right? So that'll be it. Tonewood Amp 2, Bose OC3 octave, and the Strymon Timeline. That'll be it.
That's a great desert island pedal train, and it's what also is pretty handy if you want to plan your board. It can be any pedal train board. You can go to pedalboardplanner.com and design your whole board. I did it myself for my upcoming John Mayer theater tour. Nice. It's amazing. It's an amazing tool, and it's totally free. You can use it. And if you want to win a pedal train nano, just send me an email, info@gitaarmannen.nl, and leave a comment just below on this video.
Can I do that?
For sure. If you have like a nickname,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Dyke Moss.
Dyke Moores, exactly.
Yeah.
That'll be it. I'll email you soon. That sounds awesome, man. I love those pedalboard planner things because you have to visualize where the stuff's going to go and size it up and everything. And
Yeah.
that sounds
And
awesome, man.
almost everything, every pedal is in there. Not everything, but you can also make like custom dimensions. So you can make your pedals that are not in the database. You can make it yourself.
I guess you only need like one Boss pedal because they're all the same size, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Also with radial DIs.
Yeah. TC Electronic, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty
Same.
nice. All right, Mike, thank you very much for your time.
Dude, pleasure, man. It's so nice to see you again, and I
Yeah.
hope to see you in the Netherlands in a few weeks, right?
Yeah,
so,
a few weeks.
We'll stop by. We'll have some bitterballen and some stroopwafel and all that fun stuff. Some
Don't
Heineken.
mind if we do.
Fantastic, man. And good luck with the tour as well. That sounds awesome.
Thank you, Mike. Hey, dankjewel voor het kijken. Vergeet je niet te abonneren, want wist je dat meer dan 70% van de mensen die kijken niet geabonneerd is? Dus geef een like, laat een comment achter en abonneer je op mijn kanaal. Dat helpt mij om nog meer toffere gasten over de streep te trekken om te gast te zijn. Dankjewel en tot de volgende.